Defamation is the publication of a statement that makes a claim publicly stated or assumed to be truthful that may cast a negative or inferior image of an individual, business, product, group, government, religion, or a nation. It may also be a negative statement made by one person about another, whether real or not, and be transmitted or published depending on the court case. Making a false public statement that harms a person's reputation is an action or a crime. It is intended to harm and degrade the personality of the person who is the victim of it. In this case, we found that the plaintiff was a doula or birth partner and defendant was a doctor. Plaintiff has filed a case against the defendant seeking damage for accusatory statement made on defendant's Facebook page. The defendants made the statement on February 7, 8, and 12 after a baby born through water delivery by Norizatul Amira Kamsan died. We found that this case happened in the Norizatul Amira Kamsan's house during the nights of February 4, 2018. This had happened when the defendant posted accusing plaintiff and asked her to be responsible for the death of the baby. The statement issued by the defendant is defamatory as well as affected the image of the plaintiff. Next, the plaintiff made a police report on the allegation to explain what happened. She explained that her main purpose was to go to the house to visit a friend, but there was a misunderstanding when the defendant accused her of being the causes of the baby's death when she assists in the birth process. The mother of the baby testified that the plaintiff was innocent and was supported by her husband. She also stated that she did not register to any dollar services with plaintiff. On her accusation, the plaintiff has asked 30,000 ringgit in compensation from the defendant.
Plaintiff is the party who being legal action or in whose name it is brought as opposed to the defendant, the party who is being sued. For this case, the plaintiff is doula or birth partner who is being accused by defendant, who is a doctor. Defendant is a respondent, a person or group against whom a criminal or civil action is brought. Someone is being sued or accused of committing a crime. For this case, the defendant is a doctor who made a false statement on Facebook, accused bad thing about dollar. The defendants made the statement on February 7, 8, and 12 after a baby born through water delivery by Norizatul Amira Kamsan died. We found that this case happened in the Norizatul Amira Kamsan's house during the night on February 4, 2018.
There are three types of defamation, which are libel, slander, and innuendo. Libel is defamation in the permanent form, such as through written word in articles, newspaper, posts on Facebook, or WhatsApp message, and many other sorts. This can happen when people post a false statement or word that can cause harm to someone's reputation. Meanwhile, slander is a defamatory statement that happened temporarily. It was when and orally or can be done in a transient form of expression. Lastly, innuendo is a term used to describe words that have a special meaning only to those who are aware of specific background or set of circumstance. In this case, it is under libel defamation cases. This can be proved with the case analysis in Malayan Law Journal reports between Masyitah binti Muhammad Hassan and Sakinah binti Sulong regarding the issue of defendant had posted in her Facebook account on 7, 8, and 12 February 2018, accusing plaintiff without having any strong evidence about the death of the baby by using the hashtag $keji with keji referring to the vial. Second, the posting showed that the plaintiff was not only there at the moment of the baby delivery, but also she was working as a doula at the time of the baby death. Third, the plaintiff was referred to as a liar and sinner in the posting. Finally, we found that the posting also refers to the fact that the plaintiff should responsible for the death of the baby.
There are four types of defamation statements, such as writing, where the defendant publishes false statement by writing or imprinting on the surface by creating words, letters, or numbers that convey the necessary information or meaning. Next is verbally. It can be made with publishing false statement by expressing them in words rather than writing or acting on them. Apart from these two ways of defamation, there are also pictorially, which is posting a false statement by using or referencing an image that may consist of lines or shapes drawn or printed on the surface. Lastly, gesture. Gesture can be a defamatory statement is through movement performed on body parts such as hands and head to express attitudes and feelings towards something. Through this case, the defendant had made writing defamation statements. This is because the plaintiff, who is a dollar, filed a lawsuit towards the defendant claiming damages for alleged defamatory statements posted by defendant on Facebook. The 6 statements that were made by the defendant on the 7th, 8th, and 12th February 2018 after the death of a baby born on February 4th, 2018 with home water birth. The Facebook post was deleted in August or September 2018 after the current proceeding was filed on August 10, 2018. The fact that the statement was published by defendant and referred to plaintiff was not disputed. Defendant's allegation was the content of the post was not defamatory, and even if it was defamatory, it proved justification and defense of fair comments. However, the posting referred to the plaintiff as a liar and a sinner, and the posting had also made references to the fact that the plaintiff was responsible for the death of the baby.
Next, there are 3 types of elements defamations, such as the words must be defamatory. It is a false statement, and the words are intended to harm the plaintiff's reputation, causing her to be shunned or avoided. Second, they must refer to the plaintiff because it can be easily proven if the plaintiff is mentioned by name. Third, they must be maliciously published like a verbal communication to at least one person other than the person who has been defamed. The statement had to have been made with an evil motive in mind. Affirm. The defendant's statement can identify that the words are defamatory in terms of defamation elements. It is defined as an untrue statement that tends to damage the plaintiff's reputation to cause her to be shunned or avoided. It is also possible that the statement with a malice in mind, because the plaintiff testified that the statement had harmed her reputation and dignity as a doula. This could have happened.
The High Court held that the defendant is presumed to have published the comments posted by the public on her Facebook posting for such purpose. The High Court ordered the defendant to post an apology on the Facebook timelines on both the plaintiff and defendant within 7 days of the decision of this court, and for such apology to remain at such timelines for 6 months. In addition, the High Court ordered, among others, general damage of 100,000 ringgit. Exemplary or punitive damage of 100,000 was also ordered in view of the indecorous conduct of the defendant. The plaintiff claim was allowed with costs in the amount of 30,000 and the total is 230,000 ringgit Malaysia.
In a conclusion for this assignment, we have been discussing about defamation case between the plaintiff Masyitah binti Muhammad Hassan and the defendant Dr. Sakinah binti Sulong. Besides that, while doing this assignment, we can finally see how the defamatory statements and elements of defamatory can be applied in a real case. Apart from that, we know about what types of defamations this case was. Suffice to say, that we have learned a lot of things while finishing this assignment, such as how the law was used in a real case. In addition, we also learn how to manage our time properly to finish the work on time, although we are also busy with other assignments. The assignment is not easy, but with all the efforts and all the knowledge that we gain while we are in the class, finally we gain some experience on how to look for a hidden point to be put into the report.